And there we go. What's up, guys? My name is Chris, and this is Barnon 11970. And I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Even if you don't celebrate it, I hope you just had a wonderful day. And I basically just want to say I am so fed up with the mainstream media. I think a lot of people are at this point, and I want to give some suggestions on how we can get rid of them. And I'm going to keep this clean. Obviously, that's why I crossed out two of the letters. But I would like to say publicly, F the mainstream media. Um, I notice that when you look at these fake news channels like CNN and MSNBC and ABC and PBS and CBS and even to a certain extent Fox News, they're all bought and paid for. I mean, you have six corporations that own about 96% of the media that you see, read, and hear. So it's just propaganda. But I see a lot of people, especially on Twitter accounts, and Facebook and YouTube and other social media outlets, where they go to their channels and leave comments that are nasty, or even something that's just not positive. And I can understand why they do that. But here's the thing I want to teach everybody and what we really need to do, because we need to squeeze them out. And you can't do it violently and negatively. So as much as I understand why people want to go like troll or just whatever, go to these websites like the CNN ones and MSNBCs and all these others and leave comments that are nasty, you have to understand something or understand something. Especially on YouTube, they have advertisers. They don't care if you go there to love them or hate them. If you go to their social networks, even if it's to leave the nastiest death threat, which I don't recommend anybody do, or if it's just to insult them, or just to respectfully say, you know what, I disagree. Every time you go there, you are giving them ad revenue. And that's all they care about. And if you know how the mainstream media loves to manipulate people, they love adding the emotion into it. And I've told people all the time, I mean, there are good emotions. Obviously, love thy neighbor. Oh, excuse me, I almost choked to death. um, loving your family, loving your pets, caring about people, missing somebody you love, not because they're dead, but because you just miss them not being around you. Those are positive emotions. They focus on the fear, the anger, the jealousy, the hatred, and they want you to not stop and think about what you're doing. So if we continue to go to their channels, even to say the most ridiculously negative thing, or even just to say, you know what, I know you're fake, I don't like you, we're giving them income. So that encourages them to do it more and more. So if you want to really get rid of the mainstream media, don't participate. Walk away. Like, I mean, for example, let's say that there are plenty of people that are tired of, like, quote-unquote comedians like Amy Schumer. Or, what's that other one that just basically was insulting Trump the other day? Wanda Sykes. And people paid for the tickets, and let's say they said something politically you didn't agree with, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to walk out. Yes, that might embarrass them. It might make them look bad, but they still have your money. So do you think in the long run, if they made $1 million that night, and let's say every single person walked out, they still have your money, so they don't care. So if you want to hurt these people, do it the right way, and it's to no longer participate. If you try and play their game, you're going to lose because they are, unfortunately, better at manipulation than we are. Because good people are not used to taking pride or practicing manipulation. We don't like to do it. We tend to care for people. So these not nice people, and I'm trying to keep it rated, G, I get my videos blocked enough as it is. I don't want to give them another reason. But if we participate, we allow them to continually take advantage by making us angry and keep going. So if we're going to boycott them, that means not only not going to their sites and not watching their television, but maybe even contacting some of their advertisers and say, if you are going to end up advertising with such and such mainstream media company, I will no longer purchase your product. But here's the thing. You have to not do it. You have to not buy their product. Don't say you're not going to do it and then go out to do it, even if no one knows you're doing it. And that's why, for example, I mean, my video I made earlier today has less than 300 views with 30,000 plus subscribers. Now, where were most people today? I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming that there were a lot of people that were going to Black Friday. I went out 0 times today for Black Friday. I will not participate in these things where they throw you a bunch of little things and say, here you go, fight over it, hurt each other for these little gadgets that you'll probably end up with being obsolete in a year to 6 months from now. You have to start practicing what you preach if you want to make change. Now, obviously, you're not required to do anything. But if we continue to look the other way, if we continue to pretend, if we continue to not sacrifice and continue to play their game, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. So I understand or understand why people want to go to places like CNN and say, F you. Or go there and say, you know what, I used to like you, but I don't like you anymore. Well, I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's like breaking up with somebody. Or let's say you're a guy dating a girl, and the girl breaks up with you, breaks your heart. And then you go over to her house and say, you know what, I hate you. Do you think she really cares? No, she probably moved on. So the idea is not to continually give your energy to something that doesn't matter. That's why I could never understand the trolls that stalk my channel. Thank goodness there's only like 3 or 4 of them at this point, because, you know, most people eventually realize they are supposed to have lives and go do something better. But I never understood why somebody that wouldn't like me, and that's fine, or didn't agree with me, that's definitely okay, why they would want to continue to come to my channel. That's like, to me, watching some kind of movie that you don't like and you continually watch it and complain about it. Well, doesn't that hurt you? Doesn't that make you angry? Doesn't that stress you out? Wouldn't you rather spend your time doing something you enjoy instead of doing things you hate? So if we want to really get rid of the mainstream media, you cannot burn their buildings down, because that's wrong. You cannot injure anybody, because that's wrong. You could not do what they're doing, because then how are we any better? The way we hurt them is to walk away and no longer participate. And one of the movies I would highly recommend if you have not seen it, there's a homework assignment for those who care, is a movie that was made in the mid-'80s called War Games, starring Matthew Broderick. And that movie teaches you that to win the game, sometimes you just don't play. So I've used the reference of, if you go to a casino and you find out that the casino people that are hired to work there, the blackjack dealers and, you know, the poker people and whatever, they're trained to cheat you. Well, you can complain about it all you want. You can hold up picket signs. You can even try and burn the place to the ground. Well, their insurance will just make their building bigger and better. The news will sympathize with them, so they'll probably get more people later on once they rebuild it. They'll end up having people like you go to jail, and with all the free advertising, they'll probably make 10 times the amount, and they don't mind waiting a year or 2 to have that happen, because all they have to do is go to the people who run the towns, use your tax money to rebuild their establishment. Let's not make them martyrs anymore. I did not participate in Black Friday. I didn't go to one store today because I don't want to involve myself in what's not important. I don't need a $400 TV to watch a better version of a corrupt media system. It's ridiculous. I just recently had to get a new phone, not because I wanted to, but I had a Droid X, and I've had it for years. And the only reason I had to get a new phone is that this one's about to die. I dropped it once or twice, and now the screen is barely readable. So I had no choice. But I've had this phone since the early 2000s. Because I'm not going to go online every year to get an updated phone so it has 3 extra things. If you want change, you have to make sacrifice. And you have to honor what you say. If you're going to say things like, oh, I'll never watch CNN again, and then you go to their channel or you go to their websites, well, you're making them money. And bonus, what is it? Bonus B Music says, I thought Fukushima was the biggest issue right now. That is definitely a big issue. That is something I've talked about in the past, but there are plenty of different issues. We can't do much about a nuclear spill. I mean, if you have any ideas of how we can clean up the ocean, by all means, please do. But I'm talking about the things that we can change. Something that's already happened, there's not much you can do about it. But when it comes to the media, if you continue to go to their websites and their social networks, even if it's to bash them, they are making money off of you. And why do you think, for example, one of the most hated movies in recent time was the new reboot of Ghostbusters? And it has the most disliked trailer video of all time on YouTube. You know how much money they made off of people's hate? And you notice how they started changing their campaign to kind of edge and twist that knife in a little bit further? Is they know how to manipulate people. So they were laughing at all the people that were getting angry, and they say, oh, I'll show them, I'll go there to their website, and I'll say F you, and I'll do it 500 times, and I'll make 600 different, accounts to thumb it down. That'll show them. And they're raking in all the money they made off of the people that went there. You know how many times I've seen the movie Ghostbusters, this reboot? A total of 0. That is how you make a stand. So you can go there and spend your money just so you could say, you know what, no matter how bad that movie was, I am going to make a review to totally bash it. What does that do? It creates curiosity. Because you'll get some people will agree with you and say, oh, it's bad, I won't go and I won't waste my money. And there are some people say, you know what, I'm going to give it a chance. This person says it's that bad, let me see if it's as bad as they say. And they get your money. So, you can't say you want change if you're not willing to do what it takes. Because obviously, I can't see what anybody on the other end of this listening is doing. They could say every perfect thing that I would want to hear, or what all of the people in the quote-unquote truth movement will want to hear. If you're not willing to sacrifice, then change does not occur. And even like when I was talking about my cell phone, I actually found a way to reduce my phone bill. So even though I had to get a new phone, I actually lowered my phone bill. It's called sacrifice. So at this point, that's all I'm going to say, because obviously my videos are going to reach a couple hundred people at most. And I thank those that are here. So I can't have the illusion anymore that I think I'm going to impact what's going on out there. But that doesn't stop me, because if it impacts somebody else's life, that to me is what's worth it. But make no mistake, I'm not going to sit here with any grand delusion of grandeur, thinking that my video is going to go viral and change the world, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, now I understand, thanks, Chris. It's not even that anymore. I really think if we want change, there has to be sacrifice, there has to be a smarter way. You cannot fight fire with fire, because you create more fire. That's why the mainstream media is going all in on all this. They want you angry because they can get your attention. They will have you pay attention. Even if it's negative, they still make money off of you. I wish people would get it, and it's disappointing that they don't. So you can go to a casino and complain all you want about how unfair they are if you catch them cheating. Maybe they'll even say, you know what, this time I'll be nice. Just put your money down on the table. I won't cheat this time. Or they might even edge you on and say, you know what, you think I'm cheating? Why don't you try and beat me there, tough guy or tough girl? Let's see what you got. Come on, you think you could beat me? What's the matter? You can't handle it? You're going to cry? And then you say, oh, I'll show them. Throw down your money on the table and you lose it again. That's why they say a fool in their currency is soon parted. So, you don't like the way a casino takes advantage of you? You don't go there and complain. You don't go there and give them your money. You don't give them the opportunity to make free advertisement off of your negativity or destruction. You just no longer participate. You know why none of my trolls have 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 subscribers? Because I don't advertise them. You ever notice me ever saying any of my trolls' names? There's a reason for that. Because when I used to not know better back in the days, I used to call them out and stuff like that. All it did was make more people curious to go to their channels and build them up. You got to learn a better way if you want change. Otherwise, we keep doing the same thing, and like they say, if you don't research history, you're doomed to repeat it. Well, we're doing a lot of repetitions these days, because let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen. Are we as a nation becoming more united or divided? You tell me. And I would probably safely say that most people are getting divided. I wonder how many people at Thanksgiving had arguments and fought, or maybe just ended up leaving their families get together because somebody's political view just happened to vary from somebody else's. You know how many fights I had at Thanksgiving with my family? None. So, if you want to continue to go to MSNBC and CNN and ABC and CBS and PBS and read the Huffington Post and the New York Times and all that stuff so you can get a couple of extra clicks on your videos, you're feeding the beast. And that beast eventually will eat you alive. And at the very least, he's eating part of what you need to live. So, I want to thank those that actually took the time to listen to this. To those of you that take the time to leave your comments and come here all the time, I really appreciate it. I hope you will check out the video I made earlier today, because like I said, out of 30,000 subscribers, 300 have actually seen it. So that's a little disappointing, but I thank the 300 that actually took the time to see it. I can't control who views my channel, and I can understand why some people think that I must be buying subscribers or something, which I wish I had the money to do that. I mean, I normally don't even make videos this time of night because I'm normally going to work and DJing, but lucky me had a flat tire, so I'm home tonight earning no income. But sometimes that's how life is. So instead of letting it ruin my night, I decided to come on here and maybe it inspires somebody to do something good in their life or change their ideas, and maybe we create a positive impact. So you know what? I took a lemon and I made some lemonade. And you know what? It tastes good. So thanks for watching, guys. Never stop thinking for yourself. Never stop being afraid to ask questions. And let's start changing the way this goes. Otherwise, they're just leading you down a path you don't want to end up at, and by the time you realize you're on the wrong path, you're usually on the way down the cliff. So thanks for watching, have a great night, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.